But it looks dark, Ahmed. Okay. Is it the bright? Is it bright? Yeah, if anyone is live. And then put it on the group that they should join again that we're live now. DOHS Cares Foundation. Hmm. Is this show that we are live? Is it showing also? Let me see. You put your phone on silence. Hello, ma'am. Okay. That's all what. Hi, my name is Ololade Ajayi. I'm the founder of the DOHS Cares for Vulnerable Women and Children Foundation. Probably when you are around. It's good. What about you? Bros. Did you hear? Okay, no. I'm hearing you. I can hear from here. Oh, the video. Okay. I can hear from here. Super, sorry. Oh, is that YouTube? Okay. Okay. As they are setting up, let's the opening prayer is the second stanza of the national anthem. 3, 2, 1. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help us use the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and live in just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody. The people that did not sing, we see you on camera.
I was finding my rhythm. I was like, is it the old?
So we know who you are. Okay. The old, the new. God will help people like you. Thank you very much. You are all welcome to the DOHS Cares Foundation's capacity building for human rights defenders. Okay. Um, Today we are doing introductions first, introductions of ourselves, and also introduction of the organization. This is a series. This is an ongoing series of capacity building for human rights defenders. In the next couple of months that we'll keep engaging in. Okay. I shouldn't have opened this. This is expo. So that when I'm asking questions, there's a mic here that we can pass around when we're asking questions. So I start with introductions, and we go around like that. My name is Ololade Ajayi. I am a poet. I am a feminist. I'm a women and child rights advocate, and I'm the founder of the DOHS Cares for Vulnerable Women and Children Foundation. Okay, let's meet you, please. Sunji, you're up next.
My name is Tunji Olapoju. I'm a serial volunteer. I'm a nurse person.
Syria volunteer Tunji Olapoju. Yeah, okay. Oh, you didn't pass the mic. Just you can just put it in your mouth. Just hold it. A what? Claims. Claims officer. Oh, interesting. Grace Ademulegun. Thank you. She said, did you hear her name? Fania Victory. Was that what you said? Say it again. Fania Victory, social media manager, volunteers, and so on and so forth. Yes.
My name is Raphael Ode. I'm a volunteer for DOHK.
DHS Cares. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Wasi Fedans.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Let's just see. You pass the attendance then.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Tomi Sim, and I'm an environmentalist and a social entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Becky Eludua, and I'm a volunteer for DOHS Cares.
Thank you. Yeah, next. Ahmed, then blessing.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Ahmed Hassan. I'm a volunteer with DOHS Cares Foundation. I'm also a member of the tech team. Thank you. Good to meet you all.
May check, bro. You didn't say the best properly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Oni Blessing Oluwafumilayo. I'm the secretary of DHS Cares Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Stop everybody else. And we have also our media partners, Gem Speak, in the house with us today. Um, they have a program called Global Shapers where they are documenting the activities of human rights organizations, non-governmental organizations to help to amplify their reach. So thank you for coming also, Gem Speak Media. What is your name, sir? Testimony. Teslim. Olayemi. What about you? Oluwadamilola. Okay. Um, it's nice to meet you and it's good to have you here. My mic is on now. No, no, no. The one I passed on. Okay. So let me just quickly go back to where's my agenda? Okay, for well checks, because it's important for us as human rights defenders to be of sound and sane minds. This is a very important aspect of our work. So I always advocate for us to, practice self-care as we are helping to solve the world's problem. So before we leave here, what we're going to do is that all of us are going to have a self-care routine. I'll pass a paper around where my own self-care routine is written. Please, this is a training. These people are not holding paper and biro. Let's know. Let's give you paper and biro. And you have a pen. Good. Okay. So before we leave, we're going to um, design our own self-care routine and then work with it as times goes on. Because the situation in the country currently, if you are not in a if you are not in a very sound space, it's not there's no how you can intervene on any issue about anybody. So we go into that. For me, my own self-care routine is that I exercise, try to eat healthy, and these are the things that actually make me feel happy, make me feel as if I'm able to take on the day. So your own, you build it afterward. Researching and building knowledge. Some people will say, ah, is that self-care? Researching and building knowledge on gender-based violence, scrolling through social media, watching comedy skits. Also, something that also makes me happy is also rescuing vulnerable people. Okay, and then also sleeping well and learning something new. Okay, yeah, and that's on a daily basis. That's what I like engaging on a daily basis. Please, I have cold, so please pardon me blowing my nose. Okay, so on a weekly basis, what I like to do is, sorry about that, dancing, writing poetry, watching movies, and yoga. Trying to engage in yoga. I've not gotten the hang of it. And on a monthly basis, I try to engage in hiking activities, mountain climbing, adventures, hanging out with my girlfriends, and poetry hangout sections and writing fiction. Those are the things that make me feel as if my life is still balanced. So, what happens if I know that I want to feel confident? I feel confident when I can speak on research subjects and write poetry. Because in our job, also, we have to be able to speak confidently when a mic is suddenly thrust on your face. And if you are not able to do this, there's no how you can feel confident. I feel inspired when I help to rescue people. These are the things that can give you ideas on how to run your own self-care routine. If this is, you feel happy when you do this, you feel inspired when you do this, you get irritated when you do this, you feel bad about yourself when you do this. Those are the things that you know that, okay, when I want to feel inspired, this is what I do. So you incorporate those things into your daily or weekly or monthly routine to be able to say, this is how I take care of myself. The things you get irritated about or feel bad about, you make sure that you try as much as possible to avoid it. Okay, so for physical activities, you can see here I do dancing, exercise, eating well, and climbing mountains. Doesn't have to be daily. For um, for mental activities, I write poetry. I scroll through social media and relax myself, watching comedy skits and researching on GBV, watching movies as well. For emotional activities, I hang out with my friends and I hang out with poets. For growth, my self-care idea, when I want to think that I have impacted people, I'm growing. The number of people that I have rescued from abuse and the level of my knowledge on GBV subjects. Okay, so I'm going to pass it around, we look at it, and then afterwards we'll build our own um, self care routine. So, with that in mind, I'm going to ask us, how are you doing? How has it been in your business, in your activities, in whatever you're doing? How have you been coping? Any challenges that would like to speak about? Any issue that we recently solved that would want to, you know, highlight? Say anything? I think for me, is the fact that I am now used to probably being on a wanted list. That's- and then yes, and then I try as much. Please, you can take water and snacks and sweets. Ah, there's Baba Blue. Let me take, please. Ah, this one is empty. Nigeria don't happen to Baba Blue. Okay, so I, yeah, because I have cold, I think Baba Blue is anyway. Shall sometimes still work. The people logged in, the people that said they were unable to come because they are not in Lagos, are they logging in on the YouTube? You can't drink this water. Thank you. Mm. Okay. So I would say that for me, the challenges that I usually have are, is it playing back? What's happening? Oh, okay. The challenges that I usually have are when um abuse situations being, turned around by law enforcement officers, law enforcement officials. Okay. And before I used to say all these things off camera, but now I used to say it on camera. We can't continue to work to try and end abuse in Lagos, in Nigeria, and then we have people jeopardizing our efforts. So, oftentimes and most, I put myself out there, and I know that these my activities have consequences. But then I still do what I have to do. So I think the last challenge I have was the one when I went to um, Deeper Life uh, University to encourage a survivor of abuse, the Anchor University. And the police came to knock on my door and call me that they want to see me for interrogations and questions. Like, I came to visit my sister. What's up? Just come. And I had to quickly put it on the group that in case you people did not hear from me in 10-15 minutes,
Was that at the station?
they didn't eventually take me to the station. Though. They
So
took me
where did they come
inside the school. I was with the survivor and they came to about one person first of all came, said he wants to know you. Who are you? I told him my name. I said, who are you too? He said, he's a police officer. We went to their dining section. Another person came. The chief security officer answered, and then the third person now came. They said, maybe this CSP or something. You have to follow him for some questions. Say, they cannot come to greet students again here. You have to just follow him. So I already knew that he wants to stop. So I put it on several um, you know, groups, human rights defenders groups that I belong to, and said, just in case you do not hear from me in so time and so time, just know that something has happened. I have been held back by somebody. This is where I probably will be. Ayobo police station. You push come and ask questions there. And with that alone, my mind was at rest. That even if they arrest me, I have people. So we'll get there. The importance of building networks. Now I work as human rights defender.
I wanted to make a suggestion the day you posted so like when you're posting about like as you're going to the station, about where you were, you should give detailed address so that it's easy for anyone to do. So like
Okay.
maybe you should even add landmarks that opposite Kabit or
Okay. So what happened was that I didn't share it on the group, but what I do is that um I go to Google Maps,
share your
and I put in my location. So I lock it in. So if anything, everybody can, if they log in, they will see my last location. So if my location changes, yes, it moves. I think I should have shared that on the group. I just put it that Ayabo police station has come to call me. So, but usually, anywhere I am, once I get to a police station, I lock it in my Google map that this is where I am, just in case. So, um, my mental health, is often dealt with by private issue, and also especially funding issues. We want to do a lot of activities and projects and rescue and all of that in the organization, and oftentimes and most there's no funds. I'm always like, my own was past Yahoo boy chache in the middle of the night. Every night when my family wake up, they see me on the this, say Your manga suppose not pay. Are you sure you're doing the right thing? You're not using the sweet word, the right word. In the middle of the night, I'm always, applying for funding and all that. And so I have a 9 to 5 that, you know, I have to juggle, the activities of DHS, my 9 to 5 and all of that stuff. So, but like I said, all these activities are what helps me to be able to take on my day. So I want us to share, anybody randomly want us to go around, what makes, what challenges that we've had recently, and is there any self-care routine that we have that we have been used to that we have been using to tackle this kind of challenges, to take on our day, to make impacts in any way? The floor is open. Microphone. Where's that mic? Ahmed. Somebody wants to share this.
All right. So I would say, all of us are very aware of what's happening in the country right now. So it's very challenging to wake up every day as a Nigerian and see that this is the realities of many Nigerians. But I think some of the things that have been keeping me going is volunteering. Is volunteering, is prayer, devotion, just my faith really. So yeah, those are very simple steps I take in my self care routine.
Hmm.
Prayer, devotion, doing passion projects that I'm passionate about. Thank you.
Thank you. Spiritual well-being, very
Yeah.
important as well. Anybody else wants to share how they've encountered any challenges recently, or they are still encountering, and how they are able to, you know, tackle these things? Does anybody else want to share? I know you are still trying to think, is this actually a challenge or not? Yes,
Okay,
he wants to speak.
for me,
Ahmed, you can just hold it to your mouth.
okay,
Hold it, but
okay, for me is I work with so many NGOs that are into reaching out to community, helping people a lot in terms of food, clothes, and sometimes I have to go and visit them. I do inspection a lot. And most times when I'm having my own, let me see, that call it a bad day or some kind of down weather, those people will be calling, trying to like, I would let them know that please give me time. I know I will come and visit you. I know I'll come and help you out, but most times it's not easy. Sometimes I have to put off my phone because some people will still not get the message that this person is trying to just help. And
mm,
but most times, like yesterday, somebody was calling my phone. I was like, God, why again? I don't know what to do. Like I know, I had that person in mind. I'll go and reach out to the person, but I don't. Just give me time. Let me sort out my head first. Well, I'll come and reach out to the person. So that's
and because you cannot even, how can you? There's a saying like something that is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You are not um on your own, well adjusted to your own situation. How then do you attend to other people? Did somebody else want to say something? Did you want to say something? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so for me, I would say that there are a lot of things that can be overwhelming, aside from whatever is happening in the country, even with your personal life,
Mhm.
work, other commitments that you may have. But one thing I do is I sleep.
Oh, good.
I sleep, and anytime or every time rather I sleep and I wake up, I feel rejuvenated to take
Mm.
on the task that I've abandoned. Right. So I feel fresh to pick it up from wherever I stopped. So that's just basically how I tackle my struggles.
Hmm. That's a good one. And you are able to like sleep easily. Ah, God, when? Okay. Are we good? Is somebody?
yeah.
What? Okay, that we should just wrap it up together. Okay, so that
Okay. Let me just.
we should be able to school now. Why can't I school? I thought I would be able to scroll. Okay, this was down, down, but I think I should take it, bring it back up.
Okay, so
Okay,
let me just quickly talk about um I know I actually into those things. I try and much as possible to rest alone. That I actually need that rest for that time. So for me, and also I do more of reading so as to calm my nerves. Then I do more of meditation. Because there's so
you
many
didn't put down
noise around the
what they are saying.
atmosphere. I'm trying to do
What
this.
if it will help you?
Despite the situation of things like that, but once you find time to
Yes,
guide your thoughts too, which is
at
also
least
very
keep on.
important. Of all the negative vibes, of all the negative news going around. You need to find time to guide your heart, which is very important because once you let um, bad vibe, bad energy into you, it breaks you down and it scatters your emotion. It makes you to break down as well. So it's very important. That's for me. That's what the thing I tell you to just put things from mixing up into my own being. And I'm trying to do things just to put a positive vibe outside so people can I can connect and I can feel with other people.
Thank you very much. So, reading. I like that. Me too, I also love reading novels. Yes, somebody else wants to say. You want to say something?
Basically, what I do is I go on internet. That's my own self care um prescription.
Yeah, makes sense.
Comic. I laugh
Comedy
it off,
skits.
and yeah, the skits
You forget your problems.
to the world, not
Yeah.
just Nigeria alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see what is happening outside, the fashion
Mm-hmm.
of, and
True.
you even get more ideas.
I should be on TikTok more, I guess. Because unfortunately, when I want to check social media, I go to Twitter, and then Twitter,
Twitter is official.
you start seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter that will,
Yeah, yeah. Twitter is official.
and Twitter
If
is
you
my
go,
own
yeah,
go-to.
you go to Instagram,
I swear.
different things. People with
Yeah.
different ideas. Even Pinterest too.
Pinterest. I swear. Twitter is my. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
where's the mic?
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Twitter, you see things that make you angry more.
So, my wellness routine, usually, I'm mostly behind the screen. So, since my own activism is usually from the keyboard, keyboard warrior. So, but at times when working on UHS, yes, works,
Activities.
I do different things for UHS. Like I do website podcast editing and publishing. Like when I was working on podcast, and then I have to edit those podcasts. I listen to survival stories, so heart
Traumatic.
wrenching, traumatic. So, like sometimes I listen to, I have to like listen to the recording from before I even start editing. I listen to it from start to end. Then I take a break. I take a walk. I start thinking about what these survivors go through. Then I relate it to my own personal life, relate it to other people's lives around me, and I start thinking of how can make a change, how we can improve, how I can improve in my own life too, and make sure those same things they go through doesn't happen to me, doesn't happen to people close to me, all that. So that's how I try to deal with it. And then aside from that, if it's not something traumatic, if I have to sit down for too long, sitting down for too long is not healthy. So I usually like break my work into if I see I have to do something for like 4 hours or 1 hour, I might usually I like to take very quick. Like I work for very small time. Like I work for very small time. I don't like to work if I'm not inspired. So I like to find something to inspire me. Like let's say I want to edit podcast or maybe I want to design website. I try to find something that stimulates me, give me ideas, and I take a work and brainstorm on that idea. When I get the idea, I go back to my desk and then I execute it. So that's how I cope. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Um, whose self-care language is food, ice cream? Nobody. Parfait. Nobody is food. Because of some people, once they are feeling mentally, they just like they want to do sugar. They want to do like, and it's valid. If it's something that makes you just don't, splurge, being on it too much. But trust me, Cold Stone ice cream makes me feel so inspired. The smallest is too fine. So but if it inspires you to work, to be better, eat it, drink garri after.
If you perish, you perish.
Do you get one life? Okay, let's move on. Thank you for your contributions. So that if it's not that, because who knows, if it's something I can use afterwards, and all of us can use afterwards as well. Okay, so I said I want us to um highlight who is a human rights defender before we go into you know DOHS um activities. Human rights defenders are people who are making the world a better and fairer place by promoting and protecting human rights. They seek to ensure our shared commitment to freedom, respect, equality, and dignity is respected in our laws, policies, and practices. We can all be a defender of human rights. Okay? So I'm highlighting this because oftentimes and most so many human rights defenders do not even know that they are human rights defenders. Okay? Like you said, we cannot be a defender. If you check, I'm sure that all of these things that were stated here applies to many, if not all of us here. That you're already doing things that it's gone way past. They're already doing things that ensure that others people's rights. You're protecting other people's rights, trying to make the world a better and fairer place by promoting and protecting human rights. Excuse me. So, because when we were told to introduce ourselves earlier today, many of us introduce ourselves as volunteers. You know, yes, you are volunteer, but the what you are volunteering for, does it apply to this? Making the world a better and fairer place, you know that you are contributing actively to making the world a better and fairer place, to protecting human rights, to promoting human rights, okay, to ensuring there's freedom, respect, equality, and dignity, and that it is reflected in our laws, in our policies and practices, and even in our daily lives. We are what? We are what? Thank you. We are human rights defenders. As far as you belong to, a network, an organization that is working to ensure that other people's human rights are not infringed upon, you are a human rights defender. Okay? So this is important to know so that we will know that as human rights defenders, we know this. There are some things that we need to um, familiarize ourselves with. I won't go into it until the next series of the class. But the thing is that human rights defenders often get targeted at some points. Okay, so it's important to know who you are, know your rights, know the laws that apply to you, know your limits, know how to share risk, know a whole lot of things. So that's it about human rights defender. History has shown that together we have power to overcome tyranny, lift each other out of poverty, defeat exploitation, and hold ourselves collectively to higher standards. It requires participation. You will see that some people in communities, you will see there's there will be one man or one woman that they will say this no, this mama no nonsense. Once she hear that there is abuse happening in that place, she will go there. She will ensure that she exposes it. She will deal with those people. But she doesn't know, or he doesn't know. They don't know where they are, that they are actually human rights defenders. Hmm? So, we need to, as our work is going on, we need to identify such people in our communities, highlight their work, bring them closer for participation, train them, encourage them, build them further in any way that we can. So far, we realize that these people are actually human rights defenders, people who defend other people who defend the environment as well. People defend, so many things. I've seen people in an environment that they will say, the tree in this environment, you cannot cut it. They will say, what's your own? Now you plant them. This one, like, this tree is an 100-year-old tree. It's been there for. In my hometown, there is a tree there in Ikole. They call it Igioshi. When they wanted to do road, they said they will destroy that road, destroy the uproot the tree. And some people stood and said, no, if you do your road, you pass by but this tree, if you know how much that tree is protected, it might be because of maybe cultural, maybe something tradition or something, maybe something, but that tree is called the Gyoshe and is actually in the, I think, I'm not sure what it is in English. It's actually in my own town. When they say you are from Ikole Ekiti, our Oriki, they will say Ọmọlẹ́kọ̀lé Ìkọ̀lé Roman Ṣọṣẹ́ Ọ̀tàlàbọ̀ṣe. Allah is a white cloth. Every market day, people change the white cloth around that tree. Like they put white cloth around that tree. They put, like, they beautify that tree. So it's even that Ìkọ̀lé Roman Ṣọṣẹ́ Ọ̀tàlàbọ̀ṣe that they are putting a white tree that they don't even have, as in they have so much clothes that they don't have anything to do with, so they are even putting it on. But the people that were dedicated to doing that don't recognize themselves that they were actually defending that environment, defending that tree got here before us. This tree is actually, it has given us shade for years. It has done this and that. And the people that were defending that tree got into clashes with the government. That the government said that, how can we want to bring development and you say you don't want to do this? And they were targeted and all that. But so it's important that human rights defenders, you know yourself, and you know what activities to embark upon, and also support for human rights defenders. You know your network for support. Okay, so we'll come back to that much
I have
later.
a question.
Okay.
You're trying to make a point that human rights defenders are very targeted.
Yes.
So are you trying to say what should human rights defenders now protect themselves when they are targeted? Is it that we should rely on the groups so you're trying to make that point?
Mm, that
I
is
know you didn't.
that is the purpose of a capacity building training for human. It's a lot. It's something that we even get into statistics and analysis. Like I said, there was a training that I was invited as an human rights defender, capacity building, and we had to train other human rights defenders. So in fact, it got to a time in the class that I was lost because you have to do some calculations. I mean, I don't like maths, and they have to do, like, they will calculate what's the level of your risk is equal to your vulnerability, depending on your network. You will calculate if your risk is higher than your vulnerability, is lower than your. Don't embark on that task. Like, we'll get there. Yeah, capacity building for human rights defenders. We get there, but we can't be doing training on human rights defender in general when we don't know who we are by ourselves first. So yeah, why is this thing showing? So DOHS Cares Foundation, who are we? Who we are? Who are we? What's our full name? Somebody quickly.
Document our history.
DOHS. Nope.
That's what is DOHS.
I did not ask you what does DOHS mean. I said DOHS Cares Foundation. What is our full name? Everybody knows us as DOHS Cares Foundation. DOHS cares for
Honorable.
internally displaced persons. Yes. Internally displaced persons. Yes. Yes.
Develop our rights.
Develop their rights. How? How do you determine the
Probably they've been cheated. They're supposed to have access to.
Who have the potential to be exploited?
like you're not hitting it on their this thing now? Who has the potential to be
Young people,
exploited?
children,
Children, yes.
women,
Women, victims of domestic violence,
unemployed people.
Please. Yeah, because you no get job now. I go come dey abuse you because you no get job. That makes you vulnerable. Vulnerable to what?
Any permission she give,
Eh?
she give you. Where that's what you not say. It's not abuse.
Eh?
It's honorable now. Someone who is unemployed.
I will not force you now. You want job? Come and do this.
It's not.
Our society
It's
doesn't
not.
allow our society. That's what the politicians are doing.
Unemployment can actually be salary.
Override. They tell you to bring one right, one more right. Another 4 years.
My brother, you can work to get a job. You can try to get a job. So I don't think that no, you can't just say people are vulnerable because they are unemployed. Maybe if you say maybe they will be vulnerable to receiving, maybe doing what they are not supposed to do, or I don't know. But it's not all the unemployed people that.
Poor people are they not vulnerable?
Yes, people living in poverty.
I think, but it's not all poor people that are unemployed. Because if you're a qualified
And you can get employment.
maybe if you have access
It doesn't make you vulnerable.
that's when you are.
It doesn't make you
So
vulnerable.
maybe you're unemployed.
Yes. I think that's
Okay, maybe unemployable people. And what can make somebody be in that? And there are certain things that can make somebody be in that situation.
yes, maybe no education to no access to education as a result of where you are, disability.
Why did I was expecting people to mention people with disabilities? Please. Now, who don't mention people with, no, she just mentioned unemployed. People with disabilities, employed or unemployed, they are vulnerable people. Okay? And in fact, it's not all women that might even be vulnerable. There are certain things that make, women vulnerable. But in some situations, women, like maybe pregnant women, can be vulnerable because of their conditions. Elderly women, elderly people in general can be vulnerable. Aged people, widows
Mentally ill.
can be vulnerable. Mentally challenged people can be vulnerable. People with disability can be vulnerable. Okay, so but I agree on the fact that people who are not employable, maybe they have disability or they are lived in poverty, they didn't have access to any form of education, had gone through some form of abuse in the past, can make them vulnerable. But not all unemployed people can be vulnerable. So basically, in our name alone, DHS cares for vulnerable women and children foundation. That vulnerable is not just women, it's not vulnerable women, vulnerable on its own stance. On yes. And for that one, we usually use it to concentrate on people with disability and you know
That's not mistake. Vulnerable stands there as an adjective. Qualified women
no,
no.
it doesn't. It's supposed to be vulnerable, comma,
women.
No, it's not just women. People with disability
Separate.
who
What is the full name? DOHS for vulnerable women.
and children, vulnerable people on their own. No, you can basically see it in our this thing now. Look at it in our logo. This is a vulnerable person, women and children.
You can add people, or it doesn't
But it's not there
DHS cares for the vulnerable women.
So is that comma that was missing? It was that comma when we wanted to register. We put the comma, but CAC removed the comma.
Because vulnerable people now will either fall under women or children.
It can be men too. People with disability who are men are vulnerable. That was.
That a man now is a woman's child.
No. I didn't say a man is a man who has a disability is a vulnerable person. What I'm trying to clarify is that we are not just doing people at large. Okay? Our organization is actually women and children centric, but also caters to vulnerable people. Now, who are the people that falls under these vulnerable people? Like, our organization is not men centric. We are not a men centered organization. So, but if a man who has a disability has his human rights infringed upon in any way, you want to see, wants to has a disability and has his human, we will cater to those group of people. Yes.
You also cater to men that exposed to other forms of violence
as well, like
Yes,
LGBT.
because we say we are an organization that is fighting to end this GBV. And GBV is a respecter of no sex or gender.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
It can happen to any of the sexes. But then our organization is more focused on women and children. Now, if you're a man that is facing GBV comes to us, we will definitely not turn him away. But there are other organizations that are male focused. We have people that are amongst us. In fact, she even linked us up with this organization. Nelly is a boy child focused organization. What? Okay, they are male focused. So yeah. See? So there are many male focused organizations. So if any of those come to, we have referral. Like a self shelter. If you report abuse, if you are a male and they don't have facilities to cater to you, there's nothing they can do. They will link you up with other in fact, in many shelters they don't even take male children who are up to teenage years. Not a thing. Teenage years. If you are, because I had experience of referring people to shelter, and shelter children are supposed to be 18 below. But if you have a shelter, maybe I'm a woman who is abused, I'm going to a shelter, I have a child, a male child who is like 14, 15, 16. Shelter we say because unless it's a shelter that has facilities, for males as well. Because they will say this is a shelter, somebody's coming from abuse, and there are, probably a girl who was abused, a woman and is there, and this person, because they live together in the shelter, there's no separation of. Yes. So it's a challenge for many people too with shelter. They don't. It's a challenge for us because I have women who also are abused and they have grown male children that they don't want to leave behind. So some of them to say that's the reason why they don't take them with them. But that's not where we are going. Okay. So I want us to read our mission together. I want us to be able to know our mission of and if possible. What's our mission? The foster of a new generation of human rights advocates and engage in activities that guarantees the rights of women, children, and vulnerable people to be free from violence, abuse, and exploitation. Yeah. Oh yeah, donate. Who said it? Donate. Donate now. Okay, so any activity, anything that might make a person vulnerable, anything that might make a person vulnerable to violence, abuse, and exploitation, we address it. And what we are doing, the main focus of what we want to do is that we want to build movements. As we are ending SGBV, we cannot do it alone. We are fighting to end SGBV. So what we are doing is to foster a new generation of human rights advocates. And we should even change this to defenders. So it will be focused. Building a new generation, fostering a new generation of human rights advocates to engage in activities that guarantee. So we want to ensure that we are bringing up people who can help in the fight against SGBV. We want to ensure that the survivors that we have rescued are also turned into advocates. We want to ensure that people that we meet on the street also, we identify them as human rights defenders and they turn to human rights advocates because of we want to scroll on this. Okay, about us, we are helping women, children, and vulnerable people escape abuse, violence, and exploitation. So before I go there, okay, so now we talked about human rights defenders earlier, right? For me, I used to identify myself. I identify myself as a women human rights defenders because there are those that are focused solely on that. Women human rights defenders. We call them HRD, then we have WHRDs. And women human rights defenders can be human rights defenders who is female. Is that a problem? Is the phone low? So what mic will we use? No mic. So we have a woman who is a human rights defender. Okay, defends all human rights. But then we have women rights defenders that are just defending the rights of women and girls only. So you can still identify yourself further. I'm a human rights defender in general. I'm a women human rights defender. I'm a women rights defender. That is, I'm not a human rights defender in general. I just defend women's rights only, women and girls' rights only. Okay. So what I want to say, should I pause? Should I hold on so that we can fix the problem? I don't want us to be distracted when I'm saying this.
Sorry, ma'am. Let me change this.
The battery. Okay.
I'll put this one.
Okay. So what will this do? I don't understand.
Instead of a mic, yeah, like it's engaging the mic right now. So I'm looking for something I can
Use
start
power
playing.
bank instead of plugging the phone. Okay, you want to use that.
Maybe this is your power bank. This is your power bank. Okay, how are we going to connect the kilometer?
Nine.
Eh?
Nine. It's not the.
Right. Is it?
Good budget, senior.
Are we good?
Yes.
Can you test it? How are you sure?
You understand you have the connection. Okay. Let's talk. Talk. I'm on it.
Talk.
Women human rights defenders.
Okay, yes.
It's working.
Good. Thank you. Sorry for the break in transmission.
Yeah, well,
You gave me one for
Okay.
Can you imagine this guy?
Okay, can we go on? Okay, so now that I have distinguished between the women rights defenders and human rights defenders, okay, so I want to say that for us at DOHS Cares Foundation, we are human rights defenders, but we operate on feminist principles. We operate on what? Meaning that I was supposed to put up a whole load of this, but I just really briefly and talk about it briefly. Feminist methodology, gender is seen as a primary organizing category and provide a lens to seeing and knowing social world and its reality. You know, feminism is basically gender equality, right? Equality in the sense that there has been inequality on some parts before now. Like women and girls have been subjected to several conditions of inequality. Um, Study shows that women and girls are also disproportionately affected by gender-based violence. Women and girls have been subjected to um, you know in time past, also presently, little or no opportunities, economic wise, education wise, in political wise, and in so many ways. Okay, so when an organization is operating based on feminist principles, they take all of this into cognizance and also take the fact that, okay, let me say for example, look at our if you look at our let me go there, femicide observatory. Still going? It's not going. Okay, you would notice that so many, so we are focused on not only the issue that happened to these women. Ah, is there a problem? Okay, you will notice that um, on so where they wrote the perpetrator. Okay, okay, yeah, this is the perpetrator relationship. You could see acquaintance, intimate partners, Amajiri boys, armed robber, boyfriend, colleague, community resident, cousin, others, as the perpetrator of this crime against these women and girls. What are you saying? This one? Others, others, yes, yes. So, but basically, this comes up in this. When I say intimate, but we know some as intimate partners. Intimate partners can now be boyfriend, husband, ex-husband, people who solicit sex workers. They are also intimate partners. So why you are going to engage in a sexual act with somebody else? So when you see this also comes up in this. This intimate partners can be a whole of. We just put intimate partner. This one represents just husband here, but intimate partner, these others, a whole lot of it are still intimate partners. Okay, so I think we should break it down further so that it will not just group them as that.
You talk about the guy to categorize all this, so we know the categories we'll be using for any form of relationship.
Yes. So and that is this is important in feminist policies that um, sex or gender is highlighted so that we determine the root causes of this crime. You will see a newspaper um, reporting rape, and sometimes they will concentrate um, on the person that was raped, They will just say woman 52 raped by man. In the report, you see, they will break down. They will tell us all the details of the woman, and not talk about protect his identity. Sometimes they will talk about the man, they will not talk about the woman, just so that maybe not give details to show that this is the relationship with her or this. So, if you see an organization that operates on feminist policies, because there's actually something that's called feminist foreign policies that even countries incorporate into their foreign affairs of many countries, but it's basically mostly countries abroad. That if you are reporting a crime that has to do with anything on gender, if you are talking about if you're talking about policies that would favor people, feminist foreign policies would say, and that's why you are now see countries saying, oh, like for instance in Nigeria now, there's something, the abuse that women are trying to pass, that there should be 40% representation for women in politics in the House of Assembly. In Lagos State House of Assembly, I think they have how many members? 30 something, 40 something. What? There are 6 women out of maybe 42 men or so in the house. We have only 6 women. So if it's a place that practice feminist policies, you see that all of these factors are put into play. So what am I saying? In DOHS Cares Foundation, we operate with a feminist lens in all our approach. Basically, what that means is that we take cognizance of the fact that there is already an issue of women and girls that are disproportionately affected by less opportunity, by abuse from society, tradition, and culture. So once we are handling any issue, we make sure that all of this is in our head. We are taking cognizance of all of this first. Okay? We'll come back to that. So, about us, what do we do? Helping women and children and vulnerable people.
So now, regarding the feminist principles, so you mentioned that it's possible for agents to attend to a case that has to do with a man.
Yes.
So when it has to do with a man, how does the feminist principle come into play? It won't apply.
We're talking about maybe if a woman reports, or let's say even a man reports an abuse situation to us, okay? That says, so for instance, we were coming in the vehicle this morning, and a caller on the radio called and said, some women, you see what they do, the kind way they do, you need to beat them, you need to beat them, if not. So you see that, because sometimes some cultures, some of the things in our tradition and culture encourage this abuse situation. And so you will see that a man, there was a time I was handling the case of a man who wanted his child back. The woman left with the child, and then he says he wants his child back by all means. What I did is I applied feminist principles to this case. Of course, every parent should have access to their child or children. But I have to take note of the fact that there was history of domestic violence. It's not the woman that reported to me, I don't have any business with her, I don't know her yet. But I have to say, okay, you beat this woman up. That was why she left. If you beat a woman up and she decides to leave, and she leaves her child behind, there's already a chasm in that life. Who is to say that child, you will give her access to that child? Who is to say that maybe your anger issues, all the hung up issues that you have, will not, against the woman, will not be transferred to that child? And we handle child custody issues in DOHS. But when it came to that man's case, I referred him to DSB. I said they will be better able to handle your dispute. can call you. They can say, okay, this woman must be seeing this man, this woman. And the man saw it as being biased. And I said, if the issue of, because I am familiar with the fact that women oftentimes do not want to leave abuse situations because why? Their children. I am familiar with the fact that women who leave their children behind, the children number one will suffer, no, the children number two will be not be the mother and the child relationship, they will not, you know. So I cannot be working on me getting that child back for you because of the history that is on ground. That's a feminist principle I'm applying because I know of the underlying situations that women are, even though I don't know that woman, but if I'm working with data, if I'm working with research, I know what is already in place, I know what already goes on. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
That is not the case. How will you approach it? Assuming a man
Mm,
that doesn't, he has no history of abusing his wife,
mm.
and the wife has left him and has taken his children, and you want to help him, how will you approach it?
So every child has a right to welfare, shelter, okay, and education. So now,
How would the feminist principle come into
that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going. Okay, the feminist principle that we apply in this case is the best interest of the child.
play?
Is the child, the parents that the child is with presently, does the child have access to these three things that I mentioned? Is it in place? Education, welfare, shelter. Okay? Is this in place? If yes, it is in place. What I will do is to, if there is no issue of abuse, maybe the woman just felt she wanted to leave. Okay? So then a child also has the right to the love, the care and attention of both parents. I'm not a reconciler. I'm not the person. I don't do family repair. I counseling. Maybe people like mommy, we can be calling them. But my own job is that I must protect the best interest of that child. Now, this child, if there's no issue that maybe underlying issue that can be passed on to that child, what I will make sure to do is that this child must have access. This man must have access to the child. That is if the man is also contributing actively to welfare, shelter, education of that child, the man must have access to that child. A child deserves to have the care and attention and access to both of their parents. So the feminist principle says that okay, children are likely to they are vulnerable people, they are likely to be abused. You must protect their interests and you must protect the interest of the woman, of the mother, and of the woman in abuse situation. I was on a group recently, and I don't know if you heard about that case. And it was the case. It was a pension organization, and they posted out the what's it called? There was a WhatsApp broadcast that was posted on several podcasts, and they said this woman was saying that she was abused. They spiked her drink in a party, and she woke up and found herself in an hotel. And when she stood up, she felt sore and all that, and she felt that the man, her colleague who took her home, had abused her. Okay, and when it was posted in fact, it was even a human rights group, an advocate group that I saw it that it was posted on. And questions began to fly. And on this group, there are law enforcement officers, different stakeholders there. And what I noticed was that in that group, the people who first spoke up, first of all said, "Oh, like something about why did she knows that she cannot, her level of she couldn't tolerate the drinks, and she drank too much to the extent that she woke up in an hotel. She didn't know, she couldn't say what happened to her. Okay, And there were several things, and somebody else said, I wish I could go back to on my phone. There were several conversations, and then I spoke up and I said, do you people know what you are doing? You want to second this victim to secondary trauma by us asking. It is not us. If a victim of abuse comes to me and reports that, oh, I have been raped by so person, it is not my place. I will not ask you questions to say, what were you wearing? Where were you going? What did you do? People question when I say I believe the victim first. Then I cannot go and be doing my investigation. But then I will not ask questions to say you too. You went to a party, it's 11 o'clock. That's not like you saw. No, that is where my feminist principle will come in. That number one, in fact, I've had personal issues with people that when I say this, I will believe the victim because I know that study has revealed over time that women and girls have been usually targeted even when they know nothing, did not do anything wrong, have been victims of abuse. So because what the men were saying there in that group, where even I think a woman too, and a right advocate was saying that, oh, because sometimes people lie, women lie about these things. Maybe they want to, because the person that she was accusing was her boss. Maybe she wants to sex trap someone. Some women lie about these things. So I'm like,
there's one current case, this military lady that
That was suspended.
it's something similar to.
okay, the military lady that reported abuse, and then they will say, oh, you said she was dismissed.
I'm sure it was treated like a case of she was trying to
Meanwhile, we have years and years of evidences of this kind of abuse happening, of superior officers abusing their junior officers. We have history of inequality and power relations. There's something they call it power something. It escapes my head right now. Power dynamics. Thank you. That this person, because they are superior officer, can actually abuse this person. We've had history. The study yet to reveal this. They are all of this thing. What am I even saying? Look at what happened in the Anchor University thing that I was talking about. This girl said she woke up in my hostel and she found a boy by her side on the bed. How can I go to sleep in my hostel at night and I wake up in the morning and find a naked boy by my side? And the school is saying that, did you touch her? Or did she touch you? They didn't arrest this boy. This boy was still roaming around freely. And they were saying, did she touch him? And she said she does not know. And they are saying, why are you being economical with the truth? How will you not know if a boy touched you or not? Not people say a construction worker.
In a female hostel.
In a female hostel.
When I read that story, it was like in my mind. There's one thing I think rape victims used to struggle with, which is about most, I don't know if it's a philosophy that most of them share, like people who are usually raped, they don't want to tell you that they were raped.
Yes.
Maybe the girl knows that.
I think so too.
But she doesn't want
to, and so that the stigma attached, they will not attach stigma to it.
Yeah.
And if you look at what happened, saying that it's not dead.
Because it's not possible that you don't know that someone came into. It's not possible that you know, even if you ask you.
No, she actually said that she's a gift keeper and that there is a girl that comes to Scott beside her. That so even if she had woken up in the night and hit somebody, she would think that is that her friend. That she wouldn't have thought that was it. So it was when she woke up in the morning, she started screaming, and the guy was awake. He was looking at her like this, with his boxers down. So. The questions were totally. You don't ask such questions. You don't become insensitive to it. You immediately be their support system. You empathize. That's the only way that we can encourage speaking up. Okay, and so even though that the lady you found out that she eventually lied on that guy, it's a different case. You can begin to. We also, if there's a case, there was a time that they said I think it was this musician, um, the band, that the girl accused him that he raped her and all that, and then no, the band. There was a time the lady alleged that the band raped her, and then the band sued her for 300 million or something. And then we found out that the girl was kidnapped, and then the girl began to tweet good things about this thing. And I was shouting them on social media that no, if it is true, maybe the man you say you sued that you, no, you have to make sure if you didn't do anything, you have to make sure that she paid for the crime. Why? Because it is not it is going to, but me I know why I know say na lie. I know say the guy if you don't do am maybe say you stressing and shit. Then artists are Twitter and started tweeting stuff by themselves. So I was saying that no, if you know that truly, you can't drop this suit. So you have to do it to the end. If you know that truly, you did not that because also when there are allegations that a woman lied about a rape case and then people prove it because it's then a case of now people now referring to that a business person lied about. So also we want to prevent that. We don't want fake abuse allegations. We stand against it. Okay, but it is not my place to be asking that victim question. I give them the benefit of belief. I give them my support first. I give them, my hand to hold their hands to say, you know what, because somebody is there, don't be ashamed, don't be, and then if need be, then that's why we have to report to the police. It is the job of the police to now go and start, is it true? Did she actually stay there in the night? Is it true? Was she the one that told him come and see? Did she lie? It's the job of the police. It is not our own job. Our job is to support the victim with belief and report appropriately. Okay? That is looking at things from a feminist lens. Can we move on? Where were we? Okay? We are contributing to a world in which human rights and dignity are upheld, gender inequality is eradicated, and there's a culture of inclusion for people with disability. We are building safe spaces and shelters for survivors to thrive and obtaining justice for victims of abuse. How do you become a safe space for a survivor if you cannot even believe them or accept them or support them? How can you become a safe space? Do you know that lady told me, that lady that they said they spiked her drink, that she didn't put out that broadcast to the open. She sent it to an organization. She sent it to GSBA, and somebody from there leaked it and started posting it. And in that post,
Started
she wrote,
posting what?
posted it to broadcast messages.
Okay, the report about the rape.
Yes.
Okay, she didn't post it publicly.
No, she didn't.
Okay.
She said she sent it. She did the whole thing, sent the write up to GSBA. And all of a sudden, she saw that the whole thing is all over social media. Everybody has heard about it.
And that must mean probably the person she sent it to at the DSB. Maybe the person sold the story to a media house.
No.
Not only one media house.
The person probably sent it to a friend. The friend sent it to another friend.
I send it to a friend now.
So that's why professionalism has to come into play now.
I think what would drive it to be okay, cool. This content for you.
It does not only have to be. Some people
Not-
think of
not-
it that.
not-
They don't come out as a gist.
not the
Yeah,
content.
they think of it as gist. Ah,
Something's right about
see what happens.
See what happens to this person. Oh, hey, see this office. See this.
Well,
And they
that.
don't know that.
For fun, see, for fun.
Yes. So, and the lady's address, home address, everything about her family was there.
imagine.
But her children, her husband was there. So she was like, she was almost going mental during that period. And imagine now people now coming to say that, you know that you cannot drink. Why did you drink? Coupled with all of this. Imagine us asking those questions if a victim comes to us and we're asking all of these questions. Do you know what I did when I went to that girl's school? in the Anchor University when I went on Sunday. When the school released a statement that she cheated, she was a thief, she this, she that so poking holes into her career. And this is what people do. When I went to meet her, I told her that if you like cheat, if you like steal, what's the worst thing that you can do? If you like do it. I don't care. I'm not at this moment what I'm concerned about is that you were abused. You're a survivor, you're a victim. Basically, you're not even gotten near justice. To be politically correct, they say we should be calling them survivors. I do to be politically correct, but in my mind of mind, I know that they are still victims. Because how can you call somebody a survivor when they've not even arrested the perpetrator? No form of justice. Okay? So how then do you how then you so when I went there, when I told her that I just want to ask you questions about what they said so that we will know how to clarify if it is true or not. I don't care if you stole. It's a different thing. It's not my business. I don't care if you cheated in an exam. And she broke down and explained everything to me. And that was when she now told me that she even slept in the cell the day before. See the people that are supposed to protect victims of the guy too was there. They put her in another cell.
Okay, the guy was in the cell.
Yes.
Okay.
They put her too in a cell. She was looking at her abuser.
Put her in the cell.
I'm telling you, this is what the Ayobo police station did.
They are not trying it.
And those schools said, like, I saw the coach she was doing the one like, oh, someone from the school posted a message. I think the sense to share.
Yeah,
That they don't allow them.
people have been calling and DMing that there have been a whole lot of abuse that has been swept under the carpet in that school. So you see, if not that victim decided to speak up, and if you check under this thing, you will see people also commenting.
Yes, no.
Like, you too. How will you not know that people touch you? You too. Why do you speak like that? You get? You will be surprised at what they. Yes, so, in order for us to be a safe space to somebody, we must know whose side we are on. We must never, unless the person has now been proven guilty, we must never be on the side of the abuser. We must know our stand. Our stand is always behind the survivor. I take it personally. When they are saying, I said, please, I'm coming. I've reported the abuse. I want to be with my survivors right now because I know that that moment is a very vulnerable moment for survivors, and they need people to hold their hand to support them. You have to be there. You have to be a support, and that's why it's even important to take them out of that abuse environment, put them in a place whereby people are telling them that no, they're not at fault, they're not to blame. There are several things I want to say about this case that I cannot say on camera. So I will not hurt the sensibilities of the survivor. Okay, so that's that. So we know that our place is behind the survivor. The survivor is never to be blamed. The perpetrator, abuser is always to be blamed at all times. This is about who we are, a femicide observatory. What is femicide? Quick answers.
The intentional killing of women by their intimate partner or relative.
There's something missing. There's something missing.
Because of their gender. Yeah, their gender.
The intentional killing of women and girls, usually by men who are their intimate partners or relatives or acquaintances, and done because of their gender. It has to do with the fact that they are women and girls. Okay? Because I said feminist lens is important. That perpetrator relationship, we cannot overlook it. Femicide is basically male violence against women and girls. That's what it is. I hope you know that there are cases whereby women commit femicide. Yes.
Yes. No longer femicide.
For instance, a woman who killed another woman because of
I don't think that's not femicide again. Because the definition of femicide is when they are killed by their intimate partner.
because of their gender. It is because this person is a woman who wants to have something to do with.
It's supposed to be done by their a male, and that's why a male. What's the definition of femicide?
Let's go back. Pick everything I said. The intentional killing of women and girls, usually by men. I did not say by men. Usually by men. And it is because when you check it, and it's because if you check it, no, didn't you hear usually by men when I first did?
Yes.
It's because you didn't pick it up.
I feel I can't.
No, because the word usually there means some.
It is usually like 95% by men.
I can't even comprehend how you say a woman killing a woman is femicide. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, a woman killing a woman is not femicide. A woman who killed another woman because of gender-related issues that has to do with her gender. We will go there. We will go to the root causes of femicide. Okay, we will go to the root causes of femicide. Like maybe there, that's where you will understand. Okay, but it's usually done by men who are their intimate partners, relatives or acquaintances, like we said. Also by strangers. Strangers also, commit femicide. But okay, let's go to the root causes of femicide. Misogyny. Who knows the meaning? You don't know it, Google it. Tell me what it tells you. Tell me what you understand it by.
Maltreatment of women.
Not just maltreatment of women.
I think it's prejudice against women and girls, still on the basis of their gender.
Prejudice against bias against women and girls. Prejudice against women based on their gender. Misogyny is something that is very big and also very little that can be overlooked. Something as simple as, let me find the most simplest thing. I want us to talk about things that we may have even missed.
Like maybe saying having mentality that women belong in the chain.
Let me tell you a typical like public transport. So keke now, the back of the 3 passenger. So if there was one person, a female, another female. Sorry, no, a
The
female.
microphone.
Yes, a female.
On the other one, the big one, coming from Yes, it's on.
Okay, so the passenger at the back is three people. So the first passenger was a female. Then the man entered next. So the last person that was enter was a female. So she entered. Then the man said that he wanted to calm down, that he cannot sit between two women. So he dropped and said he's not going.
Yeah.
He does not want to sit between two women. So I aside that as an example.
Yes, it is. Because it feels like me, a man, in between women. The feeling of superiority.
Very common. Another story that so he's a man that the keke driver was the only man. So when he was the last passenger to enter, when he got the answer it was the woman, he came down and said he cannot allow the woman to drive them. So
yes, it's very
I think it's women that feel uncomfortable that men are sitting in the middle of two women. What I usually do is, if I find myself at I will ask the women, do you want to come here? That's why.
Why? Why do you answer?
Because they may not, like, women may not be comfortable now that I'm sitting.
I don't think male usually
have issue with
that.
but this is something I will say like my house is going now. or maybe I already am doing my own time. You see the body language, so you already I just come out and I come.
That's what it is.
There's something called unconscious bias. Unconscious bias. No, on the part of the men that we're talking about now. Like maybe you're driving and you see somebody you want to overtake. Maybe the person did not drive. Say, you should snap in the car, and then you drive and like, it's unconscious bias.
She's trying to.
You know, you already have the bias that women cannot drive well.
Okay,
At the back of your mind.
So this is my right thing. So the compound.
That's misogyny if you do not know.
So there were two neighbors. So my neighbors they were chatting with me. So I was like, oh God, they should come for that. So the guy now private chatted the person, the other person. He was a lady, but he didn't know he was a lady. So when he chatted, he said, please, you guys should come for that. So the person was not like, the person now responded, the lady now said, who is this? So the guy was not like, that's rude now. How will you just say who is this? So the lady now said, can you come to my DM? He's telling me I'm rude. So the guy was not telling that somebody was by his side when the message came that the person said, the woman you're chatting
It's misogyny. It's misogyny. And you know, you can grow from very little things to very big things, and then you say,
this conversation now, you can just take this person now and start looking on her.
yes.
And go to do something else.
You see somebody say, there will be a woman that wants to become a governor. I can never vote for a woman to be that one. She will use my money to buy powder. She will this, she will that. I can never. There was a time that a woman was, I think, a Kowa party or something. That woman was so ridiculed. I think Kowa party against Buhari wanted to be president. No, that time, no, I think that's one of the things that I would be talking with a man and say, this one too say she wants to be, everybody wants to be president. Woman said, come on, who go vote for her? Woman. It's misogyny. It starts from very little things, and that is how it generates. Look at the example of a woman. You have not posted that woman. No. Oh no, not even. I don't worry. I'll get to that. Look at the example of a woman that was born to death in Kano. That because she was a guy asked her out. She accepted. They had been dating for 7 days, and after that 7 days, he said he wants to marry her, and she said,
Just like that.
no, I'm not be married. What do you mean? Maybe if in that case, I no do again. I no want marry. I no want marry you, and I don't even want marry you.
Guys to run mad.
That's in Kenya.
Okay, Kenya.
See, everybody knows the woman in Kenya.
No, I think
The femicide victim. Nobody knows the one in Nigeria, in our backyard. Even when I talk to people about them, they say, yes, sir, that woman in Kenya. I'm like, it happened in our backyard. The woman also got born.
There's no documentation.
Do you get? Yeah. So,
And that one is she. Yes,
You all about that?
The Kano.
Yes.
No.
is in our femicide register. It's
That's why.
Because she participated.
no. You might be part of it, but it's not just because he's an athlete.
No.
It's because in our culture, yeah, okay, violence against women and girls are tolerated in some cultures more than others. Misogyny permeates some cultures more than others. That woman was born, and in some places you just say, hey, chai, she says, why she know herself? The man go vex. Do you get? So it's from those things that I cannot go to a man that these things start building up, and you will see somebody that no, see where it affects it starts. One out is that because of the fact that these people have been brought up to believe that women are either sex objects or inferior to them. So why should I ask you out and you will tell me no? What gave you the audacity? Who are you I am in my own being. I brought myself down to come and host you, and you will say so. One, I've just mentioned one of the root causes of femicide, but it's a big one: misogyny, a patriarchal culture, the belief that men are superior to women. And if you check most of those cases, if you check all these rape to death, age rape is misogyny. You, I mean, when we were in school, we used to hear they say girls don't shackle yet, so my rape. Well. So the fact that who is she? Why will she be wearing fashion? I will be calling her, she will not answer. We are men now. It's misogyny.
So because of this, I also think this problem of femicide, LGBTI, we need to really tackle it from
The male perspective.
yeah, from the upbringing of guys. Because I remember when I was in university, there's something we used to do. You know, like, the girls are partying like this, going to bus stop. From the hostel. We go one day. I didn't know that thing was wrong, but later.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was the part of it then. We would stop them. Hey, see you, see the bar. Take your leg. Hey, no, I can't. But some people never knew that thing was wrong. And you won't blame them. So some people will learn it from that environment. They try it. How can we educate these guys now to understand this kind of thing early enough so we can that way?
It also comes from the men around because, like, a small boy is a small boy. Maybe his father or your uncle doing that. There's no how he will do another thing. That's what he was really doing. So the male side too, they have to impact it, but no, the mother can say one thing and the father will say another thing.
And so the thing that you're saying is that these things, this cultural thing starts from the home. The gender roles that
Not
you
really,
see.
it might not be home, but let's say social setting in communities. Because the guys, this thing that I'm saying, it happens when from my home, I never experienced that kind of thing. You get while I was at home, I never experienced that kind of thing. Even
Are you sure you didn't experience it, or it was just unconscious?
I know I've done that kind of thing when I was home. I didn't pick up that habit from home. I didn't learn it from them.
What habit?
So
Sorry,
as in that act of like around those girls now, like so the university that thing happened. That was like the first time I experienced it.
No. It didn't start from the rape a girl. It started from go to the kitchen, go and wash plates, go and do this. Why that one is playing football? Yeah. It started from, you can't say he's a man now. He's placing male children,
And then you're allowed to boys go out and then you're like, no,
you can't stay home. It even starts from conception. He gave birth to a boy. Hey! He's a bouncy baby.
Yeah, wait.
So it starts from it's in our culture. What we're fighting is in our culture. And it's very unconscious. Like I said, somebody, when I gave birth, my dad bought me, he gave me money. I don't think he gave me money. My brother left for me. And when my brother gave birth, I gave birth to a girl. When my brother gave birth to a boy. My father bought him a goat. So I'm like, you brought a goat? Why didn't you bring me a goat? He's like, that's how they do now. That the first son, and now he gave birth to a son. First son of a first son. Give him. So I'm like, wow. I'm your first daughter. You have a first daughter, but why does it not count? Why are you? Why? So the importance that was attached to him as a first son still transfer to his own son, did not transfer to me or my daughter.
Sorry, no, please, you have a son now. Were you giving a goat?
If I hear say, I will collect for my daughter. I collect goats. Okay. No, this is where it starts from. It's unconscious. You can't say because this is what is done in our culture. Yes.
This, what you're trying to
portray
is related to what has been found from generation to generation.
It is those things in our culture that
It's not
builds
just in the culture.
misogyny,
It's
that
in the religion and
contributes to
it's
violence
about the
against
foundation
women
of
and girls.
in which humanity is found.
If there are things that hurt us, that harm us in our
But
culture,
that is
why
the
should
reason
we
why
continue with it?
why are you bearing your husband's surname?
Why am I bearing my husband's surname?
Yes, it still boils down to that.
See,
Yes.
thank you for that question. It's a very good question.
You said that very much.
It's a very good question, though. It's a very good question. Don't worry, we'll round up by 1:30 by all means.
Bearing your father's name
See,
instead of your mother.
see, it's a very good question. You see that some cultures actually also bear their mother's name. Some cultures actually bear it. Some cultures in Nigeria don't even bear their husband's name.
You will bear your mother.
Hausa people, Hausa Muslims, they don't really bear their husband's name. They bear their father's name. They keep, but those ones, it was because divorce is easy. You can just say 5 times, and because I worked in Abuja when I got married, and I wanted to I did change of name paper. My guardian was there, Lola. How you want to change your name, Kuma? Ha! Like everybody will be calling you Mrs. Kinikon by your husband's name. That was why do I need to change my name? That what if anything happens? I will change my name over. I'm like, what's to happen? So for them, they don't. It may not be because of that, but that's a factor. They don't really.
Yes,
They keep bearing their husband's
I was
name.
born in Niger State, so
Okay.
I know and I'm
They their father's name. Rather.
yes. So that is the point. Not just because a woman can be divorced and she's free to marry another person.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why they don't really buy into that thing.
Sorry, I got distracted by where I was going. Okay, so now because it is in our culture to say you must bear your husband this, you must bear this, you must bear this. What if tomorrow I got married and I said to my husband, I want to keep bearing my father's name? You know that problem is going to arise
Big problem.
because our culture has dictated that you must bear your husband's name. Before you know it, the woman is already, and women that are also, dare to speak up, dare to rebel, to say, no, this tradition and this culture is not for me. They get targeted. They are oftentimes victims of male violence against women. Yes. So many things contribute to no. I mean, female genital mutilation, circumcision is harmful, but it's our culture. But now we are speaking up against it. We don't want it anymore. So if a culture harms a certain set of people, why should we continue with it? Why should we permit it? It is 21st century. People should be able to do. So far, it is not harming others. If I don't bear your name as my husband, it's not going to take anything from you. Everybody knows that. You should not bring what is the yes, anything. You should not come and be something that you will table before the others and they will say that woman is a bad woman. Before you know it, you start beating her. She does not even listen to me in the first place. They beat her very well. Like the caller on radio. There are some things that women do, you have to beat them very well. Because our culture subscribes to these things. That there are some certain things if a woman and religion, I always call them the twin tools of patriarchy. The twin tools of oppression, culture, tradition and religion. They are used to, perpetuate things that are actually very harmful to women and girls. So we must make sure that we take, cognizance of these things and ensure that we do everything in our power to speak up against it, to stand against it. If you notice that there are some things in your culture that are harmful to women, however little. Remember, I said unconscious bias. You might have been doing it, you will not know. But when you think deep, when you think about it, and somebody said that we should talk about what happened there that day. There was a time, I think the last time we had a physical meeting, there was an altercation.
What because I don't know the system, but me, what I let's talk about that day was beyond what happened. That you saw. That lady, after what happened that day, I was trying to even call her aside, talk to her, to see the way she thinks.
Say that same day.
That same day. Because when we're going outside, so and they try and now the attitude was like, for what now? I knew why you came here to meet people that are working on the same thing that you are fighting for. So why is it that we are not treating us as if we are not your enemies?
Thank you. Unconscious bias, unconscious misogyny, like I said. If you remember, what actually caused this thing was like joke.
Yeah, right.
It said, I think,
On a normal day, we can say that within ourselves, and no person will have
And she's not inside.
because you are not already, no, not because you are not an insider, because you are not already, you don't count these things, you don't know it as misogyny. This is somebody who is a radical feminist. This person's like daily devotion is to call out unconscious bias, is to fight against misogyny anywhere she sees it. So then, okay, what happened that day was that we were trying to do set up this thing, and it was taking such a long time. And it was actually men who were handling it. It was not even because of me. And then the man said, if na man wan do this thing now, you go don do since you go don dey talk. Women own wahala dey come, we no dey do things quick. So because I was the first person that actually took up and said, what do you mean? That which one be say if na women own dey do this thing that it's not even me that is causing the delay. It's set up.
same men.
It's the setup. Apart from the fact that it's even men, it's the camera setup that was. It was not because I was. But you know, there is already a belief that women, when they want to do things, they will do yanga, they will waste time, they will do this. You know, like if you are going to church with your parents or your husband or something, they will say, hey, the man will already be in the car. So that unconscious bias was already in his mind that women waste time when they want to do anything. And that was where he spoke from. And then she spoke up from the fact that, what do you mean? Let me tell you something. We have different levels of absorbing things. When I saw her that immediately she came, she started checking that femicide this thing. And I was seeing her consonants change, keep changing, and keep changing. I want to go into this thing because some people, if you read the news report about those things, you will get the details of all those cases. When I know that during that this thing, there was a case, there were different cases of, very little things that caused to the death of some of these women. So she was already antagonized.
That was even making.
Yes. So when this man now came and she was calling out his unconscious bias that, no, you don't say this. And the thing just.
Then other men are now coming out and trying to pacify her. She now talked them down.
At that point, every man is
Every man is
If I see any woman, they attack and leave her. It's not my business.
That's the totally different.
Yes, if you're the
I'm also a human being.
What is another man trying to like?
Yeah,
let's
so I don't think it's okay.
Yes, it's transfer of aggression. You are right.
You know best for us. Hope to see you next time. And you go.
No, see, I'm not validation, but it's up to you to now apply emotional
I don't talk anything.
So you know that because of that experience now, you know when you see another situation.
Mind your business.
But it's not because to value.
And yes,
amounts to something.
yes,
And generates something.
and that is why we must be mindful as an organization that apply feminist principles to this. If we have maybe heard this or known this, we would have known that what we want to say, what we want to do is a form of unconscious bias, that is a form of misogyny, and that we will avoid this. Don't worry, once we go further in the HRD training, we will get to analysis of conflict, avoidance, resolution, and all that. Granted, we didn't even handle it very well. And me, I was already also agitated that there was no light. This thing has taken so long. So I didn't even know who among them. So that's the reason why conflict resolution skills is very important.
But you don't use it that
And
way.
conflict avoidance.
She don't think about something like that.
Tell me. Because my I didn't want anything to. I didn't want to. I was just looking at them. I didn't. We never even start, and there was no light anymore. You get? Jen, see the noise called the make battery don't low. Different things that happen. People go to fight. Okay, let's pick it random. We have just 10 minutes more. So we go to interaction question. Next 15 minutes we should be done. Okay. We want us to round up by 1:30. Um, what do we do? I talked about the 5 Ws and 1H. I'm going to talk about rather of DOHS Cares Foundation. And as organizations grow, it's possible that the is it the orientation changes or what the focus.
Objectives.
Yes,
Objectives might change.
as you grow, yes, objectives might change. But like recently that we began working on femicide, my focus totally shifted to femicide, and I wanted us to include this in every of the things that we are doing because this is, something huge, something that has to do with life and death, something that we cannot afford to. But then anything, even on the, as we are growing and even changing and bringing in more things, we are still going to be applying the feminist principle of taking cognizance of the fact that there are people been deemed who have been going, various forms of inequality, who has been infringed upon, who does not even up till now, get equal opportunities, also face disproportionate levels of abuse and violence. Okay, so whatever we are doing, we are going to keep applying the feminist lens. So, what do we do? Everybody should know this about DOHS. What we are fighting is sexual and gender-based violence. Every other thing falls under it. So, how are we fighting gender-based violence? Can you tell us? By tackling the drivers. What are the drivers of GBV that we are focusing on?
Community sensitization.
No, that's how we are doing it. What are we focusing on?
What are we focusing on? Then domestic violence.
What are we tackling? No.
What we are tracking.
What we are tackling.
Domestic violence.
Yeah.
The factors of sexual and gender-based violence. Poverty, inequality, and illiteracy. Those are the three that we're focusing on. Poverty, gender inequality, and illiteracy. Okay, and if we check there are so many factors of GBV, but most of them fall under these three. So how are we doing that? How are we tackling those factors that we mentioned? What are we doing to counter those factors? Yes.
Education, advocacy campaigns.
Women empowerment.
For illiteracy, we organize educational advocacy campaigns to go to schools to educate children. In this process, we try to identify out of school girls, children among them who have dropped off for one reason or the other. This is going low. Abisham laptop, my laptop is doing. So I don't know. The light was dimming somehow.
Yeah, it's my baby.
It might be current drop.
Or maybe the screen was off.
Okay, so we go to schools, educational advocacy campaigns. We have something called club therapy. Club therapy is basically a club, a bibliotherapy club. Bibliotherapy means healing through literature, healing through arts, basically an art claim. So we have children who belong to these clubs. These clubs. We are going to school on the 11th of October. We are still doing it. This club, 11th of October, next week Friday. We are going to what schools in Lagos Island to be on the group. Ekpete Ilefun High School on the International Day of the Girl Child. Okay, so also how are we tackling gender inequality by organizing community sensitization programs whereby we tell people what are the things in your culture that contributes to harmful practices against women and girls. Tell them how we can avoid this, sensitizing them about femicide, organizing awareness campaigns, digital campaigns. Also, poverty. We have women empowerment programs, widow empowerment programs that we carry out on different days. You know, carry out basic medical checkups and the rest. So, but our focus on that women and children, and also we have the DOHS podcast. The DOHS podcast is basically a podcast for survivors of abuse to come and share their stories of abuse in order to encourage other women to speak out. They tell us about how they escaped, what happened, what was the breaking point, why did they have to leave, and in turn, we write them poetry that applies to their story. And it's amazing that a poem that I wrote for a victim of domestic violence, you know, in a marriage, and also apply to a poem that a child who was going through some form of physical abuse at the hands of a guardian or parents can actually relate with as well. So that's what the bibliotherapy aspect of our podcast is. Okay. Um, yeah. So an observatory is basically, something that helps you to shed light on an issue, something that points the light, something that I like. So a femicide observatory is shedding light on femicide, the root causes, prevention, you know, awareness, what we're doing, trying to, get it legislated, carrying out protests, awareness marches, and all that. So, champion our initiative, that's for the Women Empowerment Program. OVC, we go to orphanages every Christmas to celebrate with them, either on Boxing Day, before or after. And we talk to these children about abuse because we found out also children in supposedly protective spaces also still get abused. So we let them know that they must pick up what to do, how to pick up. Yes, 16 days of activism. Let me give us a little bit of history on 16 days of activism. Okay, so 16 days of activism basically is start on the 25th of November every year to the 10th of December. That's why the 25th of November is actually the date that is set aside by the United Nations to eliminate violence, all forms of violence against women and girls. Okay, on 25th November 1960, Sisters Patria Minerva and Maria Teresa Mirabel, they are political activists who actively opposed the cruelty and systematic violence of the Trujillo dictatorship in Dominican Republic. They were clubbed to death and dumped at the bottom of a cliff by Trujillo's secret police. They became symbols of the feminist resistance. In commemoration of their deaths, 25th November was declared International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women in Latin America in 1980. So then United Nations now employed this day as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Okay. It started at the inaugural Women's Global Leadership Institute in 1991. It is used as an organizing strategies by individuals and organizations around the world to call for prevention and elimination of violence against women and girls. Okay, this was 2023. In fact, I don't know the theme for this year, but because we are, it's so beautiful that people can have their own theme. Everybody works with their own theme, but just tailored towards eliminating violence against women. This was Unite Invest to Prevent Violence Against Men. And in fact, it still works for people want to use this theme since this year. Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women. They're calling on people to unite to prevent. Yes, they have to. I'm just saying that even if you want to run with this thing this year, yeah, yeah. So yeah, basically that's it. So let's go back to our own 16 days of activism. I'm just putting this as a reminder. I don't talk about this 16 days. I don't tire. What are we going to be doing in DOHS? Sunji, you have the floor. Yes.
Over to you.
has the floor. That okay, so I think
Anybody that wants to help him can help him.
So what's the question?
What is DOHS doing on the 16 days of activity? What activities are we carrying out in DOHS?
It's on. Hold on. The other one is not.
25th November to 10th of December. Say anything that comes to your mind. There's no wrong answer. 25th November.
Okay, so basically for those 16 days of I think we can first and foremost, know what you actually want to achieve for this day. Is it work? Or is it uh, are we
Bro, Tunji, are you sure you're in DHS?
What of the task that I was giving you, sir?
okay, so the marathon, I'm actually on the marathon thing.
That's what we are doing.
I'm not getting the whole thing, so I'm still working on it. I'll give you feedback after now.
Shaman.
Ahmed, do you want to help us out? What are we doing to series of activities?
So for this year's 15 days of activism, last year I think what we had was basically a digital campaign with African female voices. We did a podcast session with them. So this year, basically, the journey will be doing a protest march and a marathon with the hashtag race against exercise. I think that's just it.
What does it entail now?
Oh, okay, well, so 16 days of activism is a series
Come
of
in.
days set aside, 16 days set aside by UN to um,
What
campaign against.
DOHS renew? What
Yes,
it entails for us? Yes.
okay. Sorry, can you come again?
What does it entail for DOHS?
Okay, so basically, the 16 days of activism is supposed to feature campaigns to mobilize towards ending violence against women and girls. So DHS activities will be um, majorly focused on ending violence against women and girls. But we're going to do this using the protest march, the marathon, then I think that's
Okay.
then there is okay. There's supposed to be a blind people with disability,
Documentary.
like a documentary, a movie that will be shot by people with disability. So just those three events.
Okay. So for the 16 days of activism, our theme is race against femicide. We are going to be concentrating all our efforts to ask people to join us to fight against femicide during the 16 days. How do we want to do this? We want to set up a marathon race for femicide. Um, we have some people who actually pledge they are outside Nigeria that they want to be part of this cause and they want to also um, be part of this to run to they do marathon races normally. In some countries they have city state marathons that people just use to get healthy and all that. We're like, okay. He proposed it to them individuals anyway. So okay, we're going to join you to march, to run, to raise awareness about femicide in Nigeria. And the question was whether that femicide is a global thing. because even the person was focusing, oh my god, femicide, is that what happened to Rebecca Chapkojay, the Olympic run? I'm like, see, it happened to us too. They have Fatima in Kano, the same thing. So all over the world, femicide is like, oh my god, femicide. People want to fight against femicide, but in Nigeria, it seems as if femicide, people will just say, hey, yeah, a boyfriend killer. Yahoo, those children, they will follow rich man, they will this, they will that. Shifting the attention away from the perpetrator and blaming the victim. So what we were doing during the series of activism is that we want to turn the narrative around. Okay? We want to make sure that focus is on the perpetrator of this. How are we doing this? Hashtag race against femicide. I don't know if you use that. I race against
That's
femicide.
going to be the disaster. Because we have a protest now.
I
So
protest.
the race against femicide is supposed to be for the marathon. So there should be that way call it femicide as a protest.
I think we can still use the same for the votes,
What? Call it
the
The
femicide.
race against
marathon and for the protest.
Yeah, because we want people individually in their capacity to identify with this fact and run with it.
No, I think what we did, the protest march, we should maintain the same hashtag, which is call it femicide. Then the marathon now, we can
Race
provide
for-
both call it femicide and
Race for-
race against the femicide. So we know that everything we are doing for the race against femicide is towards the call it femicide.
Say that again.
They are both linked now. The marathon
Race for femicide and
is linked
call
to
it
the
femicide is
call
linked
it
together.
femicide.
So that what we are doing is call it femicide, then we have race against femicide on
Yes. So the main thing is the call it femicide, which is the protest march.
Okay.
So the marathon will be the race against femicide.
Okay. So say we are doing
Just say that again.
fearless in 16 days,
Yeah.
fearless in November, fearless in December. So we want focus to be on this during this thing. And what we want to do is we need to plan a marathon. How can we run a marathon? Are you taking notes?
Can we get this, can we get
Like,
projector
run.
who can project this and
For the run?
I don't know wherever
Stop the location.
maybe like
Okay, the stop point, yes. That can work. Yes, that can work.
How many kilometers is that marathon?
People don't dey fear.
We don't have to be the ones that we run.
Exactly. They are professional marathon.
Join them.
Yes, you can join. You can also be.
Normally have. Everybody's not going to run. Some people are just going there.
Some people are cheerleaders.
Some people are just playing.
Some people are walking by the side. Some people wake up from their house, go to the end point, and go and wait and they are coming.
This library is that we are doing, why we're not doing this activity itself, those of us that are not going to be running and be sharing like flyers.
What's that?
we can also do things like this GT fashion week or whatever. They did this video that people were like, oh, my name is this. I'll be persuaded.
This is my entry for
This
this
is my
moment.
entry.
Are
So we can do something like that where
Are you not
people
saying?
dress with their sportswear, with their sneakers, and then they'll be
So
like,
we have a, like
my name is
flyer.
Campaign, that's a campaign.
it's supposed to be a campaign.
Yes.
It's a campaign.
This stuff
Let's
normally.
like all to
Yeah.
I will be attending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even do that. I just say this, just like that. Fashion.
Oh, maybe
Short video, maybe
my name is
of
Louise
yourself
and
and
I
your
stand
sportswear. Show your cameras, show your.
I'm running supporting.
Oh,
We need more food. We will just calm down.
just with sport.
Yes, the name is this, and I'm running.
I'll be running again.
Or I race the
Racing right now.
even after the days I was
Oh,
Who has done
you
second?
can still continue.
yes, this is that like only you can run.
You can run
Say
and
I
post.
am running
Yeah,
against like
yeah.
so it can be like a recurring.
But that they just put in the shows after the movie and watch.
Did you get what did they say?
Oh, to walk
For the race now,
Before the
another active organization like just marathon. They also have like an online
like awareness campaign.
awareness campaign
Like,
where people can send in
User generated content.
yeah.
How do we get people who run femicide? The questions that I have now, I'm just putting it out. How do we get people who run femicide?
Anybody, to go anybody.
It's not everybody that can run side.
The same way,
That 10 kilometers.
access
Yes,
marathon.
just have to research on how
you come and
how
register.
that works.
So, but this one is
Who run marathons?
this case,
They are professional.
because we
There's
want to
many
do,
running communities in Lagos. You just have to approach them
yes,
and tell them
yes.
Running community.
Apart from that, we also
Approach
want to
running
raise
community.
with the race.
Oh.
like a fundraiser.
Yes, so
Yes,
there's
for a
just
shelter.
platform. There's just a platform where people can come and
yeah.
sign up that they want to
Oh
go.
yeah, so at the start and finish point, you can have like a table or something.
Oh, that guy is nonsense.
Or a QR code that people will
Yeah,
use it.
and I will just redirect them.
Or before you join the race, just scan the QR code there.
Yeah.
How did you say? You said people who are running?
People who are running
Not the
and
intention
they are
of
running.
the marathon is to raise funds. I wanted to explain to them that there is like apps where people register and that they want to run and then so you now let us to the conversion that okay at the on ground where
At the end point.
the race is taking place at the end point you can have like a desk where people can go to donate.
and the code play can
You now brought up the idea of the crowd where you can scan.
People can go to donate cash.
No, not
No.
cash.
How now?
When you get to the end point, like you scan, if you want to donate, you scan and it takes you to the where you
Like
can
an
register.
information desk.
Yeah, information there.
It-
Probably they
it-
also go there to register.
Yeah, so the same place where you are ready, the start point of the race. I believe that
Then
the
there
start
should be
point
some
is
like
the finish point. So
a
start from
there
there.
should be something like a match
Yeah.
like probably as they are registering.
Yes.
Maybe they get
You can
maybe
tell
like
the DOHS.
Or t-shirt.
Yes.
or water bottles.
Yes. Yeah. The race money.
So we have to approach running communities. Tunji, are you online?
And
Yes, we have at least 5
those running
people.
communities, what we should do is
Run.
we should try to like
These are the road, the exit are the road.
reach out to them.
No, to organize. It's organization we are talking about.
Organize
Which,
it.
He's asking. I said he will join him, and he's asking if he can we run. I said no, that is to organize.
We were talking about
Approach running community. Yes, with their awareness. Yes, now.
There's even
So
women.
what I'm saying is like we are supposed to write statements about we can identify all those like an invitation.
Okay.
So
All right.
they will have a platform where they can register. Either before the day of
Okay, to get the running community, I'll talk to somebody, a friend of mine,
Okay.
and see if he can come in and bring you guys.
Yeah. I'm trying to approach like women money society.
In Lagos,
Yes,
there are.
There are. Like wellness. Yeah, Lagos women run many wellness communities that
Oh my goodness,
women
I don't know them.
Running
Right.
for the cause
Women
of
was
anything, yeah.
What's your no, there are many. I don't have one right now. But I'm saying I have access to many wellness communities.
Okay. Okay. Wellness communities. So means
but
Okay.
it's not limited to that.
Yeah, that's why I said
We can also reach out to corporate
marathon.
organizations.
Yeah.
Yes, well, what we are even doing, what I'm doing is writing human rights organizations.
Those
Most
ones
of them
are
are in
those
Abuja.
people, human rights organizations are like our competitors. They're not really the audience.
No, 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 no. Like Erich Boelsch, the German, this thing. They were in Lagos, but they moved to Abuja.
What are you doing?
Partnership for 16 days of activism. So what they can do for us, like now, is that the people that are running, the incentive, the water, the t-shirt, the hair, you know, to partner with us to run race against femicide. That's what I'm saying. Because
How many numbers are we looking at?
as many as possible, as many as possible.
Most schools nationwide. Most of people have different locations running.
So that's the thing. The thing is that because we are trying to raise awareness, I'm saying it can happen before. Yes, yes.
They can run now, even like this time now. This time of the now, kids that they want from here.
You have to actually involve
Oh no, no, we involve the government, we involve Ministry of Sports, Tourism, whatever, whoever they have to involve. Those ones, police, Lagos neighborhood, all those ones. Those ones. Yeah, so those ones is not. So yeah, so we have noted what's down.
approach like private individuals. Those ones will be willing to support something that they're passionate about.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
worry, those women, they show up and they don't just come on that day alone. Beforehand, 16 days, they're already engaging.
So because I want us to have,
So access to those,
like for me now,
But I think they are doing something, so they are doing something.
so there's already no tolerance match. No tolerance match.
yes.
That should be the first week in December.
Yes, usually
But it's a particular day, it's not like all three.
so they already run campaigns before the no tolerance match. And everybody already knows that no tolerance match worry more required because on that day of the no actually no. The week first week in December is the no tolerance match and it happens because it's in different places and there are different factors. So Lagos can have a day for everybody to come on that day.
Okay.
Berlin, yes, Berlin can go on their own and like month in commemoration of the 16 days of activism.
This is organized by Wari.
Yes, by one
in all
one
over the world.
members worldwide, so everybody is gathering. If you're in Berlin, everybody that so you buy it's also like a fundraiser because they buy the t-shirts.
Okay, so
They sell the merch everywhere. So you not but like it's
yeah,
encouraged
sure,
that
we
you have
can do that direction.
t-shirts to raise funds.
So we are selling those
Another thing
exercises
too, not only share.
and other things too can be sold. Like I know in America they still have things like all this when all these kind of do this where they have these fairs and exhibitions that self-sponsored like so they will sell things there like maybe you see some shakes and all. So all that money they are using to
There's also like organizations that will send you money and say, okay, we're sponsoring within our network. Like Yali now. Yali has already bought t-shirts for a number of their members. So when we come there as Yali members, we already have access to the shirt. You don't have to pay. So like that's partnership. So you can approach other organizations, other partners for partnership. They can support and fund and bring people within their own network. That's why
come around to
more people to run. So approach like youth-led organizations, student body organizations. Then I don't know, you can speak to them how they can raise money within themselves or how we can support them.
Even you can like approach organizations to say we have this number of youth or students, we need you to pay for merch for them. That's how you can support this.
And like we don't need to even say we have to number. We want to do this.
By inviting your organization.
How can you support us? Sponsor people to run. Sponsor merch, whatever.
So if it is in terms of drafting a proposal that you want to ask people for, yeah, want to work
Yes.
from them. Then when you are approaching them, you have to tell them that this is what I give you. Because they too are also an organization and
Of course,
they want interaction with you. So what are we getting from this partnership? You can tell them that
promoting their
yes,
brand, selling their products.
it is part of your sales and that's like private individual. So obviously they already are doing that. They have a certain money aside for projects like this. So we are just approaching them now. This is a form of CSR for your more
What they are getting in
brand, all
return.
of that. So you can approach banks,
Like,
All the banks.
okay.
Providence Bank, Access Bank,
Dine.
Wema
Yes,
Bank,
yes.
GT
How you know
Bank.
writing what they say?
Their CSR is more leaning to education more. But like they also do like women's education, but it's mostly like
Access.
but Access, Wema, Fidelity,
Right.
those are like
Because
women's.
there was the time that we wrote letters to bank. The money we spent to bank from these letters there. Up to today.
What
then-
you need to do your proposal?
All of them now. We just go on a day. Let it can take like 6 banks. You can take like 6 on. But yeah,
I think we should also try and leverage on online messaging because you are complaining about how much we spend.
Physical presence.
mm,
You have to be physical.
that is online though. Physical.
Most of them are not willing to drop
Like that alone now.
It doesn't feel but they will not respond.
They will not respond.
You can send online, then you follow up.
They will not even say anything.
Yeah, it's because first of all, this is not something we've been doing before.
This shit
So we
sounds
need to create awareness. We need to let people know about. But assuming they were aware, for example, we want to hold this clinic.
Just give them.
Just make them the bar. Like that's where the rest are.
Okay, but now we now know.
Yeah, so
Sometimes 2FA, you will write online to them, you will also drop letter that they will, you will see their stamp like this bagger. So when you are doing follow up, you say, see, the same is so day because
And it's just about us selling our brand because I feel like the DOHS has been getting a lot of traction.
alright, and now it's time to leverage.
Yes. And we're the only ones doing time that social media platform, particularly Twitter, because we have a lot of active feminists on Twitter.
yes.
Reaching out to them constantly to get them. So like starting now what they are doing. And they'll carry it on their head regardless. Like you just have to consistently reach out to them.
Okay. Feminist from Twitter.
People already start posting, oh, there's a match,
You get
But before then we have to have venue. When, what, how?
So that's it.
So that's another
To be honest, it's not really an issue. You can use Unilag. You can use free places that you have access to. Just have to
you
work
use the two marathons on
yes,
main road
on
now.
express road. You just have to
Public
need to
road.
work with the
From
government.
there, but it's suggestion.
Yes.
So it does not have to be a land bank. You just have to be a place that you are allowed to use.
Or from Tomeland Bridge.
Can we create like a group where we can discuss about this?
We have done meeting on it.
And about this activity now,
Yeah, we have done it.
it seems to start work on it.
This
Maybe we can divide.
so like me now, I'm supposed to work on a proposal. I'll find everything out.
This has going
Yeah,
on.
I have samples for better all this needs to be. So I don't know if we can have a group where whoever is interested in come together and then work.
Where is this? This. Go off. It's okay.
Oh, let's do it.
Mm.
So you were edited.
Ahmed,
This one. I like this one.
I didn't. Wait.
Okay, the event is for 2 hours. You said 2 hours a day.
No, that's the protest.
10 to 12, 10 to 15.
That's the protest.
2 hours a day.
No.
Yes.
So for me personally, that's what I'm saying. In Abuja, I'm going to Abuja because I want the National Assembly's state